worries. This is for fun, so it's not anything we're stressing over. It's just a matter of like take time out of your day or whatever to talk to me. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, yes. Well, thank you. I'm glad we finally connected.
Right.
All the stars seem to be aligned today.
Right. Right. So you're in Texas.
I am. I'm right outside of Houston.
Okay. Are you a Texan or no?
I am. I'm a lifelong Texan. I mean, not a, yeah. Well, not necessarily. I'm not a huge fan of the sports ball, and my husband is for a whole different team. So I'm just like along for the ride.
Is he a Texan fan?
No, he's a Yankee, and so he likes the
Oh.
Patriots, right?
Oh wow.
I know
He's a
it's
Yankee. Wow, you
it,
are from Texas, aren't you?
yeah.
That's a real word down here. We use that for real.
It's a real word. It is. Are you in Texas too?
No, I'm in Alaska.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's
I'm
not
in the other
Texas.
big ass state.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not Texas. Oh my gosh. So you're not
Yeah.
like sweltering either then.
What's funny is because over the years the weather has changed. It's starting to get warm, and immediately because this isn't a state known lots of humidities. I'm in an older place, so there's basically if it gets humid, my place turns into a sweat box.
Oh no.
Right. So now we get we get warnings of drought and stuff.
Wow. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's always a thing. Depending
Right.
on where we are, there's the thing.
Right, right. Well, you guys get snow now, not a lot, but
Oh
somewhere
my
gets
gosh. Yes.
blasted.
Last year we got actual snow. Like that's really weird to get the
For
kind
real.
that sticks, and it actually stuck for a couple of days last year. I'm excited to say it did not happen again this year. And I was really glad about that.
Nice. Um, so hold on. You're a author.
Yes.
Okay. Um, how did you get into that?
Well, probably because I'm a huge reader anyway. But yeah, as a kid, I had a reading household. And so we always had books and comic books and everything around the house.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I learned early on that I could communicate better with with words if I didn't have to speak them. So I would be that little weirdo kid writing stuff down. Like I'd get upset with my mom and I'd write it down and she would encourage me to do that. So she was ahead of
Wait,
her
your
time.
feelings?
Yes, I was writing my feelings, and so she was way ahead of her time.
Wow.
Yeah, like, this is the '70s and the '80s, and she's always encouraged me to do that, and so, she
That's
just
very cool.
yeah, yeah, it was really cool of her. Like, of course, becoming a parent myself, I was like, "Oh, I see what you did. I see the magic in that now."
No, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
compared to now, a lot of this large percentage of this country can't read, so that's good.
That is isn't that terrifying?
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the classroom with some of these people, and it's unfortunate because they are young adults, just coming out of high school. And I mean,
Right.
it's very obvious that we're in trouble here. And I
Right.
don't know. I mean, teachers have been sounding the alarm for the past few years. I don't know when somebody's going to listen, but it's really
Right.
unfortunate. Yeah.
I learned, I had this thing. I'm gonna kind of go on a tangent, but I learned how illiterate Americans are because growing up over the years, I would see people from other countries have arguments with people from here. My mom, for instance, she got
Hmm.
an argument with my friend's dad about the politics and the history of Alaska. She
Hmm.
didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. You'll get people who are real American, and they don't know shit about the system. They don't know shit about civics. And then you find out, well, Cuba is like 70 to 80% literate. Jamaica is like 80 to 90% literate. And you have people who watch us around the world, and we are very closed minded. So we don't
Right.
think anybody in the world understands us or has a better idea about us and the way things are, which is the grossest stereotype of people when they talk about immigrants. Because the stories, well, in my country, I was this, but your country fucked it up. So I had to move and start my life over. Thanks a lot.
Or even when people come here, I have students who have whole degrees from universities in their own countries. And so they're here having to start over at community college. I mean, and you can
Right.
tell that they do it because they know that this is the thing that they have to do to kinda stick around here, but, I mean, it's very unfortunate because these are very intelligent people that already know a lot of stuff, and I'm thinking, "Why are you having to sit here in my classroom? You could be teaching your own class," you know? It's
I
crazy.
I work with a guy. I call people in their 20s kids because they're pretty much those my kids. But
Yeah, they
we
are.
got
They're
it.
kids.
I work with a guy. I work at a restaurant. I got a guy who's from Egypt.
Mhm.
He's already got a degree in finance, and I joke. I was like, if you want to, and I joke with people from the Middle East in general, the entire region. I was like, if you want to stereotype people from the Middle East, or that's it's that joke on In Living Color of the Jamaicans. Hey man, I got 15 jobs, man.
Yes,
Hey, I
yes,
got
yes,
20 jobs.
yes,
Your
yes.
boyfriend's a loser. He only got 5 jobs, man. You could
Yes.
say that with degrees of
Right.
Palestinians, Saudis, everybody. They come here and like everybody's got a degree. And I worked with Turks, kids from Thailand. I used to work at another place, and we get people from other countries to work for the summer on permits.
Mhm.
And literally everybody has a degree, and they're coming here because so they can make some cash and to see the state or the country. And everybody, one guy I met, he's going into I want to say chemistry, another person, teaching, just
Yeah.
on and it's, so yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
It's
you're
funny you mentioned that
but
because
you're
it
you're
blows me
absolutely
away.
correct. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I mean, but that's the way of things, and I hate it because I think there has to be a way to allow them to test out of all this stuff rather than having to start over, you know? Because a
Why
lot
can't
of
you,
these
why can't you transfer your credits or your degrees to here?
uh,
What's the problem here? Get a
I
good job. You
I
have
I
it.
don't understand that. I mean, of course, the country's getting more money out of them because they're having to pay to go to school all over again. But I mean, besides that, and that's a terrible, terrible silver lining, if you will. But I mean, there has to be an easier way where we can actually respect that intelligence and respect those credentials, and it just isn't happening in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I think it's arrogance and, like,
Oh, of
stupidity
course.
that
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I mean, I don't know if you know who Eddie Cloud.
Eddie Glaude, yeah.
He was talking about how, there's a stereotype that black folks are lazy, da, 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 da. Then he's like, I knew this racist guy who said that, and he got a union job, and find out that he got the hookup from his friend, and then his friend gave him the answers to the test. So
Right, so
black
they
folks have to
yeah,
Black black folks have to play these games to get
yep,
in these places and work twice, 3 times as hard,
yeah, so
and
who's
then you get
actually
there and you're
yeah,
right, and then my boss is a fucking idiot, and so I have to listen to him, and I'm smarter than him, and I know this, but what do you do? Sorry,
yep.
it
No,
kills me.
it's all different sides of that same, arrogant coin, uh, and it's a really difficult kind of thing, especially when you are faced with such a widespread, literacy crisis and comprehension crisis. It's like you kinda look at it and you go, "Okay, what can we do about this?" But then you start to connect the dots and realize that there are very specific reasons why this is allowed to be. They are very frustrating reasons. They're very disgusting reasons. But I mean, all we can do is the best we can do. Uh, so in the classroom, I have to tell myself, listen, you have to come and do your job. Do what you can do. Show the students that you care. Those that want to get it and are able to, they will. The ones that might need a little bit of help, you just help them as best you can. So I take this very personally, especially since I teach writing. Reading and writing go hand in hand. And so
What
it's important.
what grade or where do you teach university, high school,
I,
junior
I
high? What do you
I teach college, so I'm teaching at a
Okay,
community college. Yeah. So we're thinking first 2 years out of
okay.
high school. Yeah.
It's I can imagine. I have a friend, she's in Chicago and she's a teacher for for the city. What she has to go through to deal with teenagers and
Oh,
then
yeah.
testosterone with teenage boys and just in general
Yes.
the kids, man, it's just I couldn't handle it. I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with but I don't
Yeah,
have the patience,
no.
so
No, the K-12 teachers are they are totally the MVPs in all of this. I tip my hats to them all the time because we in college, it's a different kind of thing, but in K-12, those teachers, they are working so hard, and so many of them are doing everything that they possibly can to gather all these kids, but they got all this red tape and all this bureaucracy, and so they're only able to do as much as they can.
right.
Unfortunately, especially here in Texas, we're losing a lot of teachers, a lot of
Well,
veterans of the classroom, and you don't blame them. Like, I don't blame
I
them at all.
mean,
I'd be gone too.
what aspect do you wanna go off on how fucked up teachers are, or not teachers, but the Texas state's governmental system where you got a guy who, I mean, it's just like, I don't know if it's more racist, classist, sex, like, it's all
Mhm.
the
It's
isms.
all
It's
of
like
them. Yeah, it's
special
bundled up.
needs.
Yeah,
Special needs when the guy's in a Greg Abbott's in a fucking wheelchair. Sorry, I swear a lot, but he's in a wheelchair, and the guy
it's
is just under the guise of white supremacy and Trump. So how's
can
that
you
work?
be? Yeah, but I'm like, how can you be when there are so many people here in this state who need help? There are so many people. I mean, I've been here my whole life. And so, a big majority of that has been under Abbott and those are who are his predecessors, and I think, are you okay? Are you really okay with Texas being so far behind in education? And then I realized that they absolutely are. There
They
are,
got money,
yeah, so I mean, history is not my discipline, but like I know enough of it to know this is how the playbook goes. An ignorant populace is a well-controlled populace, so that's one of the reasons why they didn't want enslaved people to learn how to read so
right?
that they wouldn't know they were enslaved,
R-
right? So, I mean, it's just a
Well,
perpetuation of all of that.
not just enslaved people, but like white people too. Like if you learn and you read these documents of enlightenment, then you're gonna rebel, or you're gonna
Well, of
get.
course.
Any human being is gonna be like, so hold on a minute, why is that?
Right.
What? When you hear that, that's
Right.
over. It's all over.
It's
Forget it.
all over, and so you think about the Middle Ages when only religious people were access to books. I mean, it's the very same playbook. It just goes over and over again, and my thing is, though, watch the people in charge. They talk about education being a cheat, it being a waste of time, but then they're still educated, though, and their children are educated, their
They go to ed
grandchildren are educated, right? So
they
it's
go to
like
universities and shit,
right,
and their
they
kids are
do.
dealing, so it's, you don't have to deal with any of that, and then
Yes, they totally but so what's the point? Like, you wanna keep other regular families' kids out of the universities, but you're sending yours. Like, there's something not quite right about that. Somebody's playing
right,
dirty pool.
right. So, are you published?
I am.
Okay. Break it down. What do you have out there?
So I write mostly short stories and essays and poems. I mean that is quickly changing. I realized when we went out with this second horror collection of mine that collections are just as much as I love them, they're just not a huge thing for everybody, right? So of course I am in the middle of writing a couple of novels. I don't know if my agent is going to see this at all. It's just going to be like you're supposed to be writing that one thing.
You're like, I wrote
So
three different things. Sorry.
it's having to work on more than one thing. So I had my first collection came out. Oh gosh, it's been about 3.5 years now, which I can't believe it's been that long. Um, it was pretty well received. Hell hath no sorrow like a woman haunted. And then I had a chapbook come out, just at the end of last year, and so the first publisher was the Seventh Terrace. Then the chapbook came out with Rapture Publishing. I don't know if you've heard about them. They're doing such wonderful stuff with these beautiful chapbooks. Mitch Hull, the publisher over there, works with Chris Panettiere, is just like this. He's just this unworldly human. I don't even know if Chris is actually human now that I think about it because he's this brilliant guy. He's so smart. He's this wonderful artist, this beautiful writer. I mean, he's just literally like one of the favorites, right? And so he did the art for the chapbook, which was called Maelstrom, which finally sold out. I mean, I have a couple of copies
Nice.
that I can carry out with me, but yeah, the publisher sold out. And so my
Wow.
next collection comes out this summer with Quill and Crow Publishing, and so it's called, My Monsters Ain't Like Yours.
Wow.
And so it'll be out in a couple of months, and then next year, I have a nonfiction book coming out with, Creature Publishing, and it's about Black women in horror films. So,
Nice.
yeah, so
Nice.
I kinda got a little traction, kinda got a little bit going.
Nice. You're a horror fan, I take it.
Yep,
What is your favorite? Because horror is a huge genre now. There's so many
it
different types
is.
of movies. I got where is it? I got my I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yes, I see your hockey
Yeah.
mask, how nice.
Right. And then I'm gonna get an Evil Dead 2 skull, I
Yeah,
think, to cover
yeah.
up this. So what are you into?
I really like it all, Sean. I
Yeah.
really do. Like I mean there are some uh particular types of movies that I don't care. Like and maybe the one only one that I can think of is I don't care for things like Hostel or like the Saw. I watch or
Human
Saw or Hostel.
human monster.
Well, I mean, I like that type of thing, like, I dig it, but it's just something about that whole, maiming people just for the sake of it, kinda that torture
Too
kinda thing.
realistic.
It's just it is too realistic, but it's also just I don't always understand the motivation, and I think that's kind of a problem. It's a me thing, because I know that people don't always have reasons for doing things. So,
It's
yeah.
cruelty. You know, with Hostel, Eli Roth, who I don't know how you feel about things. He's got issues, and him and Tarantino. You know, he Tarantino brought him up. Tarantino's gross.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and I mentioned this because I personally think that Eli Roth, his genre is so gross because I believe that it's he's been influenced by Zionism, like he's a
Mm.
Zionist, he's
Mhm.
pro-Israel. And if you watch anything going on with the Gaza in the past like 3 or 4 years,
Mhm.
it's basically like watching Hostel, like the way they feel about Palestinians or anybody who's not Jewish. And I'm not saying that,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know, I'm going to say this: Judaism and Zionism are two different things. Zionism is a fascist policy philosophy. You see that shit in the battlefield. The IDF are crazy and cruel. Like our soldiers, when they go over, if you watch what's Ken Burns, he did a documentary on Vietnam, and he showed interviews with vets, and they talk about the things they did to to Vietnamese people. Well, no wonder people wanted to spit on you when you came back.
Mm.
You're a monster.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of a thing when you watch Saw and all that, and
I
it's
think
just
so. I think
this
so.
is fucked up. And I have mixed feelings because I'm just like, part of me likes it, and then part of me glass really realistic, especially right now.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's what it is that I watch it, but if I had to drop something out of the whole crew, I think that would those would be the kind that I would. I just don't enjoy that. Um You know, I know that it has its place, and I don't even equate it with, necessarily extreme horror because I read a lot of extreme horror, and I think that some extreme horror writers are, like, some of the nicest, sweetest people ever, but there's just something different about this, like a Serbian is it the Serbian a Serbian sto like, I'm just
I just
afraid to
got
even
that, and
watch that. I don't even wanna
right,
watch it, because
yeah.
it just doesn't sound like my jam at all.
Right, that's the thing. I think if I was a writer, I have points to my idea. Basically, right now, if you see the South in general, and if you look at Israel, and how their system is, and then you look at us, the United States, and how there's a police state, and ICE is going around. I
Mhm,
came up with a lot of that idea. 'Cause what is the worst that could happen to this place? I mean, it's already shitty for some people, but what if it collapsed? And then, well, you see what's going on reality wise with ICE and the concentration camps and all that shit.
mhm,
And it just, and the Epstein shit too. I took all that, and I called it the Aryan Republic. And so, what if the South seceded? And basically, I threw all that in, and I use it as a like hypocrisy because it's supposed to be religious and Christian and
mhm,
all that, but because they want to they're also white supremacy, and laced. You
right.
have all these contradictions, And,
Yep.
and so it's just, I feel, that's kind of where it's at. It's like very political and just basically dehumanization. And I think that's where we're at, where you have the dark web and people who are just, there really is gross.
Oh, oh
That's
yeah.
reality now.
I think
Well, it's always been.
that's a really great way to put it is it's just very dehumanizing. And so yeah, I don't care for those types of movies or kind of medium. So, you know. I mean, but to each their own.
Right.
If if people like it, I like it for them. There are I mean there's other kind of movies I don't watch, but not necessarily under the horror umbrella. Like my husband is, he already knows, don't ask me if I want to watch anything with people who are enslaved in it. Like that's just not the thing that I want to do. I enjoy some of them, some of the movies. Django Unchained, he likes to watch a lot, which I think is kind of it's very brutal, but of course, when you have Jamie Foxx's character coming out at the end, I mean,
I mean,
how can you hate it?
I I get what you're saying, but I can't stand the sugarcoating of of movies that take place in the 1800s. Don't tell me everything was cool out west. Just be
Right.
honest with it. Everybody was saying the N word, and no, I'm not saying that should be encouraged, but I'm saying
Sure.
like if you're gonna play it for real, and there was everything was gross. You either died from disease
Uh-huh.
or crime or whatever, and so don't. I just can't. If you're gonna do that, you got to do it right.
Well, of course.
Um,
Oh, yeah, and there's ways
but
to
I
show
get what
it.
you're saying. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying,
No,
though.
on a personal note, like one of the movies, 12 Years a Slave,
I
like, it
can't.
just crushed me. I
I
mean, like,
can't.
I write stories that are based in the 1800s, and I write about enslaved people often, but I'm like you, if you're gonna show the brutality, show it, but it's just not something that if it's not horror, if it's not speculative fiction, like sci-fi or fantasy, where there can be a rescue, there can be a monster, there can be something
Right.
kinda coming out of this. I don't want to see it just for the sake of rehashing what it was. So those are the kinds of movies that I don't care for. Like, I haven't watched Roots since I've been an adult. I was too traumatized from the watching it as a kid. It's just like I don't want to see that. But if it's in a speculative way, then that way you can talk about, ghosts, or somebody can come back as a vampire and avenge
Right.
themselves,
Right.
right? So,
Um,
yeah, so I
like
love that horror
interview.
can do that.
Did you watch the TV series Interview with a Vampire?
I have not finished it. I've watched it passively, but I'm actually gonna talk about it in my book that for
Okay.
next year. And so, yeah, so I'm gonna watch the whole thing, because it's a different thing when you have to write about something.
Well, I think it's good because it's not just fantasy and vampire lore. It takes place. They show the one guy who gets turned. He's Lestat hooks up with him, and the guy he's black. He's also
Mhm,
sexually
mhm.
repressed, so he's gay in the closet.
Right.
So they hook up and but they show everything, but they include a lot of serious things like segregation,
Mhm,
but they
mhm.
also show the main character who gets bit. He's black. He's not servile. He's not a slave. He's actually
Right.
a intelligent businessman. His parents, because it's in New Orleans, it's a different perspective,
It is.
and
It is
I
totally
just think
different.
if you're gonna enter that,
Yes.
show a lot of shit, because there's so much whitewashing where it's just like it's either like harsh racism and
Right.
slavery, or white people invented everything and ran everything, and black folks were
Right.
in the back. Shut up. It's just
Sure.
like,
It's crazy, right?
it's but you got to have that. I'm sorry, like
Yeah.
because
Oh, you do, and it's a thing. I love Sinners. I'm never gonna stop talking about that. And being
that's the
Southern,
perfect movie,
yeah,
like
it
for
really is.
fantasy.
Yes, it's
And
so Southern, it's so authentic, and it was so beautifully shot. I mean, like
uh,
it was everything that I know this South to be, even with the ugly warts and all.
but it was, yeah, it showed that, and it was used in a way because white folks weren't necessarily portrayed nice, but then break it down to where like, okay, these aren't just Southern white people. The Irish were in that situation.
Right.
What about the native people? Like, oh,
Right.
cool. And then the vampires were Irish, and
Yes.
they weren't quite white. They were like, no, you don't
Right.
understand. We're vampires, but we're not necessarily like white trash like that. We're from Ireland. We're recently
Right,
white,
colonized.
right?
Exactly, we
We're
were
recently
previously
came here,
colonized.
like we're getting treated. And so I loved how he did that, where he's like, no,
Mhm.
we're gonna talk about this, but let's be really, and the Chinese characters in the town where
Yes.
they were friends. And it's like that's probably how it really was.
That's how it really was down here, well, in the Mississippi Delta. Like,
Right,
there was a documentary that showed, one, lady who was her family were Chinese immigrants, and, I mean, she spoke
right.
with this honeyed voice with the Southern drawl, and, I mean, that the South is her home. So,
The
it was
trains.
very wonderful.
Railroads, the history of that, they always wanna chop shit up in any time of a
Yeah.
description of that era in the South where it's, so wait a minute, you never, and I thought about that, I was like, "Oh, yeah, so why don't they talk about the history of Chinese people in the South
Right.
and why they came and
Right.
how the South is very diverse?" Or you go to New Orleans, and so you have African, Haitian,
Yeah.
Creole, how Creoles came and
Mhm.
all that stuff, and it's crazy. But then having a society within hell. So how do they
Right.
do that? And all the
And
shit, how
that
does that happen?
And it's necessary. Like, it's necessary to tell all the pieces and to talk about where everything settled. Where does the dust settle? And
Right,
so, yeah, like, I'm all for, movies that show these different perspectives. I mean, because really, I mean, I grew up watching a lot of TV that was, mostly white people, and that's cool, and all, but, of course, I'm wondering, well, where are the black people? Well, there's black exploitation, and then you kinda
right.
have these movements, and you go, "Okay, so why can't we get everybody's story, though?" Like, and I think that that's kinda one of the important things about, us as artists anyway, is that we're supposed to tell those stories, and we have to do that, that's our job, so that people do understand that there were people doing other things. There was other things going on, or there were other ways that people survived. There were other ways that people prospered, after the fact. And so I get really excited when I think about the possibilities because we haven't seen all these stories. Like, there's
What
so much time for them.
what did you think of Lovecraft Country?
Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like, it was an amazing thing. It was an amazing thing. I think that
But
it
how
was.
but how they did it. And they just, and then what happened is like when they start talking about, Black Wall Street, and they break it down, and like I heard about that. Well, first
Mhm.
I heard about from the rapper The Game, because
Mm.
he named, was it him or 50 Cent? They came up, they used that term for a record label, I think, or
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, and I just thought it was like Black Pride, and but it's like, no, that's the actual term. And then I found out about the Tulsa City. I learned about that listening years ago from Chuck D of Public Enemy. He had a
Yeah.
he was on radio or Air America in the early 2000s,
Mhm.
and he broke it down, and that shit all fascinates me, the good and the bad, because you're like,
Yeah.
it's like, so, because I used to live in Chicago, and you go out south, and they're literally abandoned mansions with
Mhm.
pillars and beautiful. So yeah, what happened?
Right.
Oh,
What's the
okay, and
story there? Yeah.
because there's a
Yeah.
story to everything,
A
and
story to everything, and I've always been a weirdo kid, so I'd read about Black Wall Street, I'd read about Emmett Till. I actually, I have memories of, being that kid, like, my mama, subscribed to, like, Jet Magazine and Ebony Magazine, and I remember that sometimes Jet Magazine would do, like, these commemorative issues because it did happen before our time, that when he was murdered, but I remember, there was this, like, commemorative copy, with his face, his open coffin on the cover, and I was alternately fascinated and terrified by that.
they were around back then.
Well, Jet, yeah. Well, there
Yeah,
yes.
really?
Oh, yeah, yes, they absolutely were. So they would run these, like, after years after, kind of in memoriam,
Right.
or whatnot. So, I mean, I have read all the stories, and so it's stuff that I knew about, but I know that I didn't learn it at school. Like, I learned this at home. I learned it through my own reading. I learned it from my mama.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like,
So
it's exciting that you learned this, like, from through hip hop because, I mean, like, I'm a staunch supporter of hip hop, and I think that it
I
it is a vehicle.
half the one of the main reasons I love, like, the golden era of hip hop from 88 to like probably 93.
Mm,
Like I was a weird kid. Like I was very curious and I truly from the bottom of my heart like I'm gonna tell you something that's I'm not proud of, but I'm gonna tell you because I'm ashamed of it, but I learned from that is so when I was really young, I was like really racist. And you go, well, you're white, but it's like
mhm,
I had I was really racist and I hung out with racist kids.
mhm,
And the reaction I got from my friend's mother, I'll never forget because I drew a swastika on my arm.
mm,
And you understand, I'm saying this, I'm not excusing it.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
just telling you, I was 14
You were a kid,
and
yeah.
I was a kid and I got beat up a lot too because I was, in a integrated school. So
Mhm,
I got beat up by kids. And so my mom was like, the damn blacks and the Mexicans and da da da. And so California is really racist. But so I don't know, the reaction though really got me was, and I never felt shame like that from my friend's mother. And because she was like a childhood friend and she looked
mhm,
at you just like that, that I can't believe it, like, you're gross. I can't believe that. I might as well
mm.
kill the cat. So ever since then, that feeling has always stayed with me. And I'm never perfect, but I've always felt like I had to do better and that I
Oh, well,
don't
good for
want to
you.
be that.
Oh, good for
And
her too. Good for
oh
both
yeah,
of
but
you,
I
yeah.
I grew up okay, when I was growing up, racism was pretty clear and not liked by most people because you had the generation from the 60s and then my mom's generation, the 50s. And my mom's first thing when she says to me the first day of school is, don't say the N word. We're not white trash. She literally said that because my dad's a
Wow, that's
redneck.
interesting,
He's a
yeah.
California Cesar Chavez beaten ass, Mexicans and all that.
Mhm,
That's my dad's family. And
okay.
so I resented him for that and my family because I was like, they're white trash. I cannot relate to these people who hate everybody. And then on top
Mhm.
of it, my stepmother's Mexicans. You completely contradict yourself.
Wow.
Anyway, I could go on about the things going on with that
Mhm,
Mexican woman
mhm.
who proudly said that. That's that's my step family. They're a
Mm,
Mexican. They take all the racist abuse from my dad's side, making racist
wow.
jokes and all that shit, and they take it. In Texas is like that too.
Yeah,
That dynamic where no, you got to be around white folks. And
yep.
so my thing is, I've always had an interest in this stuff. People have been uncomfortable with me because I just talk about shit honestly. Oh wow, isn't that a place where they used to do really fucked up things to Native people?
Mhm.
Isn't that white people really can't? It's really uncomfortable. It's like we don't deal
Mm.
with shit. So when we hear it, we just cannot handle the fact that we're in the negative, we're the narrative as the villain.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so
Oh, I
I
can
feel like
imagine.
right. And so I always felt I had to take it upon myself to say shit because I didn't learn shit about there was this much in history books in school about slavery, this much about native people in the trails,
Mhm,
this
mhm.
much about women's suffrage. I didn't even know what the fuck that was.
Right, right.
So my point is we have to talk about this shit no matter how painful
Oh,
and teach
sure.
the kids. So I'm sorry. You
No,
got me all excited because
it's
I
exciting.
want
I
you to
mean,
understand though
we do
that
we
that
do
shit.
have to talk about these things. I mean, but that's one of the reasons why art is so important. Like not just writing, music, visual art, oral storytelling. Like we don't
Film.
know until we don't know. And so
Right.
when we keep secrets and just kind of cover over everything, and that's kind of a southern thing to do, right? To kind of just
Oh my
turn a
God.
polite eye to the atrocities. And that's like, but
Dude,
there are some of us who cannot.
I went
Yeah,
I
some of
went
us
I
can't.
went I was in Arkansas in Fort Smith and I was at a mall and my friend and I were shopping and I'm leaving. We're checking out and the white lady, older white lady would not even look at me. She would not even
Wow.
look at me.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Cool, I'm a race trader, right? I'll be a race trader. I'm glad I don't have to hear your fucking your Southern
Exactly.
1800s ass. Shut the fuck up and take the money. I don't give a
Exactly.
fuck. Because if you start with that shit with me, you're gonna cry because I'll call you white trash, and that is the most derogatory thing you can say to a Southern white person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nah, how dare you, sir, you
Right.
scallywag." It's like,
Right.
I mean, I got this was my tattoo I got in Portland a couple years ago.
Yeah. I love
And
it.
right now, you have to be like that or you're not gonna
You
make it
do. You
because
do. You do.
you're gonna silence equals death shit isn't gonna cut it. And then you're gonna lose money in your life and your family.
Oh my gosh, it is well, it's a crazy thing to be here in Texas, especially right now. Like I don't so I live in the town where we just elected the first black mayor after like 132 years.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I'm sure it's like everywhere now, but it's being a lifelong Texan, it's one of those kind of things. Like that this stuff you're surrounded by it. Like, I am literally surrounded by it. But you learn how to move in such a way that you can, sort of shield yourself from a lot of it. Um, so I have friends, I have white friends, and we don't always agree politically, but we do agree humanly, right? Human what we agree. And so that's why we're able to be friends. And also I can be friends with anybody. Uh but it is a crazy thing being here in Texas when you have to say out loud, like 132 years this town has been here, and this is the first time we've had a black mayor. Really? Like,
That's
really, really?
but no, but
The
that's like that
first.
everywhere though. Like you
Yeah,
look at
the
Mom
first.
Donnie in New York, you look at
Yes.
like there
Yes,
was a
the
guy
first.
there was a Somali guy who ran in Minneapolis, and he is a
Uh-huh.
progressive,
Yep.
and it's Texas, what's funny, they always, "Don't mess with Texas, we're gonna secede and all that," and what's funny is I don't know how true this is, but there was a town made up of atheists and agnostic people, progressive town outside of San Antonio,
Mhm.
and it probably got burnt down by the slavers and the Klan. But that happened. But along with that, then you have the other aspects. Of, oh wow, so NASA can't talk about the history of the black folks that contributed and have to
Right.
put out a movie. But then you find out, oh, so they made deals with the Klan so they can sit there in Houston and have your space thing. It's and with their
Right.
Nazis, making all the rockets, and with the Jewish people that they got to, oh my God, are
It
you fucking
is
serious?
it's a crazy thing. I mean, it is like, and I think that it is probably the most encapsulated by, what James Baldwin said when he said that, to be black in America is to kinda, be constantly, and I'm paraphrasing this, but to be constantly aware of these things, to
I mean, serious for
constantly
real.
know it, understand it, embody it, teach it to your kids
The
because you wanna be as safe as you can be.
the term woke, not in the stupid, but it's a term that was great.
Yes.
White folk got a hold of that and made it a derogatory term.
Lord,
All that
man,
shit.
that's not what
I
woke
swear to
meant.
God, a black man or a black woman creates a cultural thing, and I swear to God, we always take it, make it gross.
Yeah,
But it's true. It's like you have to be aware. Like, be aware of your surroundings. Look at everything. Like you're a
absolutely.
spy. Like you're a cop, and you have
Yes.
to like make sure we're cool. Look for all those exit points.
Yes, yes, you really do, and I mean, and I raised my kids we raised our kids here, and they're now young adults, but I still worry. Like, my son likes to go out and work out. Now, remember, we live in this suburban town in Texas that just elected its very first black mayor. So when my 20-year-old wants to go ride his bike and it's like 4 or 5 in the morning, of course I'm panicking. I'm like, and if you're going out jogging, like he likes to go running, we have a lot of running trails. But I worry about that because this is the
Right.
same place that used to stop my husband, who's a truck driver. The police used to stop him all the
Right.
time coming out of the neighborhood, all the time. Like you would think that they'd be on a first name basis because he would leave to go to his truck. He's a truck driver. He would leave to go to the truck yard to go pick up his truck. He would get stopped every single time.
W- Are,
Every
is
time.
Is your town a
It's not a sunset
sundown
town.
town?
Yeah, it's not a sundown town, but it is very, very red, very extremely red. So the problem is, so my husband is Afro Latino. So it's not
Oh, that's a
just
whole nother
that's a
conversation. Oh
whole
my
other
god.
thing. So it's not just there's this big black appearing guy, right? He's a black guy. He looks black, but then he gives you his license and his name is Jose Garcia. So then you have this
Right.
whole other thing going on. Um,
So, does he talk about light-skinned Latinos giving him a hard time?
well, we see it. I mean, we literally see it. Like we've gone on vacation. Um, And he's completely bilingual. Spanish was his
So
first
he hears
language.
everything.
Yeah,
He's
so
like,
he hears
"Motherfucker, I hear you."
everything, and then he'll kinda just wait, let them talk, and then he'll answer them in Spanish and just kinda give them this whole dressing down, and that's exactly what you get, right? You get either that or the whole, "Oh, well, you're kinda one of us, so we'll actually be nicer to you now." Like, at one resort, I kept going to the front desk to ask for things, and they just would ignore me, and so I finally sent him. I was like, "When you get back, can you please go handle that?" And I didn't have any problems ever again, like, the whole rest of the time we were there
I
after he went.
70% or 80% of border patrol are Latino.
I
What
don't
kind of like racism is
I don't
I always say
understand
this,
it.
white supremacy is so addictive, and I notice that you'll see a lot of immigrants, and I'm learning it's like this with the Asian community and with the, of course, Indian community, and I've witnessed this. Being white, you get to see everybody's bullshit. They kiss so much ass. I'm
Yeah.
racist too, man. Look, I'm with you, dude. I'm not with
Yeah.
you. You think you're
Right.
cool? You think we white people we want you? We use you, but you're cool with it. Yes,
It's
sir.
terrible, and it's
Go
terrible
ahead, man,
thing. Well,
and we'll
because
lynch you too. We don't care.
it's that proximity to whiteness and perceived
Ugh.
power, though, that is very, very attractive, and unfortunately, there's lots of people from, marginalized groups that they don't care about that, that they just want that power of proximity, so, I mean, it's
Like if you,
unfortunate, but man, it sucks to see
it,
that.
it's transcending from just that's fucked up to like now there's policies written, and now you have people stuck in places. We talk about the Nazis and we talk about fascism, but Hitler learned everything from America. That's
Mhm.
how he got everything organized. He's like,
Yeah,
how
that was
can I
the
get this
playbook.
shit?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'll just study America,
Mhm.
and like we had Nazis here. We didn't do shit until the Japanese, till the non-white people attacked us. Then we're
Right.
like, you know what? We should join. And Europe was already like, where the fuck are you, dude? Are you for real?
Yeah, yeah, it's
So I mean, and no offense to the new mayor, but I would wait and see how he does because I've seen a lot of all these sellouts, black sellouts, Latinos,
yeah,
gay.
yeah.
Is he cool or is he gonna be a sellout and do work for the white man or is he gonna do shit for the people?
Yeah, or will they let him? That's my bigger
And
fear
that's the other
because he
thing.
looks relatively young and because I'm with you, anybody who's younger than 40 is young to me, right?
Right,
And so he looks relatively young. What I hope doesn't happen is that they don't hamstring him to where he can't do anything either. So like there's these two
right,
fears. The one fear that he may just roll over and just let things be, let the status quo stay, or that
right.
they'll put in different rules and laws that'll just hamstring him to where he's not able to be productive at all. So yeah, I'm watching, definitely watching to see if he's actually able to even get anything done. I mean,
I
because I'm, kudos to him. I that he even had the bravery to run
oh, and he succeeded. I mean,
and
that's
he
beautiful.
succeeded, like, yeah, so
But
I really am worried for him and his family, uh, and I know it makes it sound like I live in, like, this lawless place, but I mean,
no,
It's
but you
Texas.
do.
It's Texas, and that's about the size of that, yeah.
Lynching never really
It
ended. It's
never
just a
really ended.
seasonal sport. Black churches have been burning for what, 60,
Yep,
70, 80 years every summer.
exactly,
I
exactly,
learned that in the
so
90s.
yeah, so I'm not yeah, I am very fearful for him, so I am sending all the positive energy to him and his family because I really want I mean, if he wants to help us people in Pearland, I really want him to be able to do that. I mean, it's only fair. He was legally, lawfully elected. He should be allowed to do his job, but we see that that doesn't happen all the time, and so, I just hope that he and his family stay safe.
Did when you got hired from the place you work at, did they make you sign anything about Israel?
No, I've been at the college for about, I guess about 13 years now, 12, 13
Oh,
years.
okay.
Yeah, so this is kind of before all of this ramped up. But of course, with social media, of course, we have to do the whole, my opinions are my own, kind of thing. I do not represent all of these things. But at
Right.
the same point, I think that as a black woman who lives in Texas and I've been here my whole life, like I understand my lane. So I understand, like, the things that I gotta do to keep my family safe, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's fucked up because you talk about like people sell out. If you look at the Israeli military, they got black folks, women, non-Israelis or non-white people
Mhm,
basically, and they try to push that. Well, we're democratic, and the Palestinians will
mhm,
they
mhm,
kill gay people. You don't. It's so segregated in Israel that it's a white supremacist wet dream. They love Israel even though they hate Jewish people.
mhm.
They love Israel because Israel's doing what every fascist has wanted to do in this country forever. It's crazy. And I mention this because we are so connected with that country in so many ways with policies and funding
Sure.
and everything. And the Zionists, they're smart. Where like they talk to black politicians and Latinos, and
Mhm,
like they don't
mhm,
discriminate. They're like, we can use them all, but we
mhm.
still hate you because we hate Christians and we hate
Right.
everybody, Muslims. But we will use you
Oh, of
to
course.
get our thing done.
Well, of course,
So
and there are some people that, who and there's one thing about ignorance, right? There's one thing if you didn't know. If you didn't know, but these people, you can't tell me they don't know. And so this is when you have that willfulness to work with somebody who literally holds hate for you. I guess they think that they'll get out of this okay. But I mean, we see even commentators nowadays who are falling from grace. They are, being harassed, and it's like,
right.
because you chose to play for that team. Did you not see that this could happen? You should have had an exit plan. What is wrong with you? If you're gonna play dance with the devil, you gotta figure out a way to shake him off your back.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. The weirdest thing is when you see Lindsey Graham and the Christian Zionists who are so hardcore Israel. What about America? Mike Huckabee, he's supposed to be our ambassador. He's like, dude, are you Israeli? Are you American? I'm not a
Mhm.
patriot. I don't claim it. I'm not like
Mhm,
that. I care
mhm.
about people. But if you're gonna play the game of patriotism and loyalty to a country
Right,
and you're a government figure,
right.
but you love Israel that much, and the Christians, what's sick is they want Israel because they believe Jesus is going to come back, and they need Jewish people to do it. They need Jewish
Mm.
sacrifices, and so there's this sick fascist like game they
Yeah,
play where they both hate each other. It's like because the Southern Christians, they don't like Jewish people. They're anti-Semitic as hell, and the Zionists. They don't give a fuck about Southern Christians. They don't believe in that. Like, and
right.
so it's just, but it both serves the purpose of their main, goal.
Right. And there are people who are so, um, I don't even know what the word is, but they will, by any means necessary,
Devoted,
they're just whatever they got to do to hit those goals and to get done what they want to get done. I
right.
mean, if they weren't looking to destroy humanity, I mean, it's almost admirable the dedication to these things, right?
I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, and the fake Christianities, the Christo-fascism stuff too. It's just like that shit kills me as well. It's like I don't know how you could be so hateful and you talk about Jesus when he was like a hippie trying to love everybody,
Right,
literally try
right,
to feed everybody, and it's
right.
like you use him after you go and bomb a children and a school of girls in
Exactly.
Iran, and you're like, nah, whatever, they're brown and Muslim. And it's like, so Jesus would be like coming down with a golden sword, and he's gonna fuck you up, man, because you just did something so disgusting that you
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
if they don't try to attack him first, like, that's the thing, like, this is going to be a man that looks nothing like you think, like, you didn't
right,
read that book that you say you did. So, I mean,
right.
I grew up Southern Baptist, so, I mean, I'm like, I'm not practicing now, but I'm like, that book that you say you believe in, it didn't say to do that. It didn't say that's the way that things are supposed to go. So, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you talked about the hypocrisy of it all, because there's not a part of that. There's no part of Christianity that just says that you are supposed to sacrifice people in this kind of a way. I mean, especially once you get to the New Testament, right? So, I mean, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I've read the book quite a few times. I know that it doesn't say to do these things.
I grew up Catholic, and it's like, so I just, I was very naive, but I always, the basic tenements of the Ten
Right,
Commandments, and like,
right,
and then you had all these charity organizations. Oh, and a
right.
priest, the missionaries, and they try to go and they
Mhm.
help, and then priests that fought in the civil rights movement,
Right.
rabbis.
Right.
The evangelicals and Baptists think they're better worshipers of God than the Catholic. Have so many sects because they all go, I don't agree. I'm gonna make up my own bullshit. And the
Yep.
Catholics piss me off because they cherry pick so much out of the Bible.
Right.
So you don't even want to talk about the Nephilim. You don't even want to break down how the flood and all these things.
Right.
And you look at the different texts. If you read the Torah, they break shit down. If you read the
Mhm.
Quran, they break shit down to a science, and literally use science because they developed physics. You're so ignorant, I swear to God, and you think everything's Christian and cool, and
Right.
that's the way. And it's like you can't be that. You have to be humble.
You have to be, well, there's so much alignment with these. So I did take earlier in my undergrad years, I did take like a couple of world religion courses. And I understood that there's actually more similarities than not in these ideas. And so it's the
Right.
idea that one is any better though is kind of crazy because they all are so similar. But and in the ways that they're not similar, they don't actually fight each other. So they actually don't contradict one another. There's no reason why they all can't exist. Like there
I
literally is
mean,
no reason why they all can't exist.
there's a theory with some people, especially Christians, progressives, I would say, I
Mhm.
guess, that Jesus was chilling with Buddha because there's a missing 30 his there's that missing piece of time,
Hmm.
and the philosophies like are so similar where he was chilling and then he was listening and learning. Like, if you were more honest, then you'd be able to deal with it. But like slavery is, we never dealt with it because what did we do with the Confederates? Well, we didn't punish them. We just gave
Nope.
them the shit back, and then
Right.
you just change it from slavery to you change it from the boats to a concrete,
Yep. To
cell,
mass incarceration.
and
And there you
it's
have
just
it.
Abraham Lincoln. Eddie Cloud Jr. was talking about how Abraham Lincoln wasn't pro-black. He wasn't anti-slavery. He was trying to deal with shit,
Yeah. Oh,
and
I
so
believe that. Yes, I've read a lot of
he
historical
was a
accounts
punk.
that talk about that he literally was just trying to keep chaos from exploding any further than it already had. So like eliminating slavery was kind of a byproduct of that. I mean, which okay, but it happened and that's great. But at this point in time, we're looking at things that progressively aren't that far away from it, that aren't that far removed. And so, no, no, we did not deal with it. Again, we talked about, talk about this earlier. The South, oh no, it's impolite. We never talk about that whole thing, the big unpleasantness. And then, but I do think that that's a big reason why things bubble up the way that they are now and the way that they did during the civil rights movements and the way that they did in different points a long time since slavery had been or since the Civil War is over, I should say.
I mean, if you look at just the general philosophy of unity, and every man and woman come together, who every vulnerable group of people. Fred Hampton is probably one of my favorite people in history because
Mhm.
he literally did that, and he's from Chicago, and the
Yeah.
dude was only 21.
Yes, very wise for his age. Yeah.
Like, he saw, so he was able to get able to get poor white people who are racist
Mhm.
to come together with Japanese people, Mexicans, of course, the Panthers. He had to convince them,
Mhm.
you know, and then I want to say the white Panthers, the white people that want to be part of they, you know, the Panthers, the militant. We
Mhm.
have to do this shit, like.
Right,
And
exactly.
so they want to contribute, though. So you had these groups. J. Edgar Hoover, the repressed guy who hated that, thought they were so scared because the good work that the Panthers did, and through solidarity, our country will move further. We don't want you. And you find out white people will turn on to that. Yeah, why do we have to go do your bidding? Like we get screwed too, poor white people, us.
Right. Well, see, and that is the problem
They don't like
altogether.
that.
Like, if in order to topple these power structures, though, there is going to have to be some kind of not even just unity, but I mean, in my personal opinion, I really think that we're going to have to let people do the things they're strongest at. So, black women are like one of the biggest voting blocks. They are some of the most active, boots on the ground activists. So this is our strength. Listen to us when it comes to this, right? And then maybe another group of people has this strength where they have the actual proximity to whiteness. Okay, so we can get close enough to topple these structures. Let's work together. Like, that's the thing that I feel like, as long as division can be stoked, we are not going to get anywhere, because people are too afraid of another group of people exceeding them or having more than them. And I mean, I'm a total hippie, and I'm like, can we all just, first of all, we're all going to just die anyway. So maybe before that
I mean,
happens, we should kind of try to make things a little easier for the people that don't die, or the people that come
well,
after us.
right, like, maybe we should stop just going to other countries, and 9/11 and Pearl Harbor were the only times that we literally have been attacked. I always look at it like this. What did we do to so you find Osama bin Laden? Well, the CIA helped him and the Taliban to fight the Russians. Oh, cool. And Saddam Hussein. Well, you gave him weapons of mass destruction to fight the Iranians. The Iranians were cool. But guess what? We had to have their oil, and we hate anybody brown who has any freedom.
Right.
So we're gonna fuck you up, and we're gonna created the nuclear bomb. So then we have power, and we're gonna flex our
Right.
nuts to the entire world. And it's all racism, capitalism, imperialism, all this shit. It's just physically deteriorating our planet with wars that
Yes.
pollute. Well, why do they hate us? I swear to God, I get so tired. People never think about the base of the problem. They go, well, they just hate us. Well, why the fuck would people hate us? You don't get it. You could just burn a house down and then walk away, but the
Right.
remaining people in that house are gonna come find you to like fucking take care of you?
It's
Are you
very
fucking serious?
basic. Those are very basic ideas. One of the speeches that we use in class that we were just looking at last week was John F. Kennedy's inaugural speech, right? Now, I wasn't there. I wasn't born in 60, was it 61 or 63, whatever it was that he gave this speech. But I like to use it when we talk about compromise, arguing to compromise, right? So this whole tactic of trying to, meet in the middle, find common ground. And this is not to say that you can find common ground on everything. Like, let me be clear about that.
Right.
But when we look at his speech, my students are looking at me and they go, so he was saying that we should like try to, get rid of poverty through the world. Yeah, that's what he said. And then they go, oh, well, when he says weaker countries, like, does he mean like the third world countries that don't have resources? Yeah, that's what he's talking about. I mean, so I wasn't there. I cannot speak to his politics or his personal
He
personality, but this
right.
speech made perfect sense. Why would we set off nuclear war bombs when everybody has them? We're all going to die. Can we not do that? Can we actually use our collective strength to help those that are weaker than us, so that the whole world can try to find some kind of balance? And I get that, politicians are supposed to talk pretty, and they're supposed to talk about things that they will never do or don't support, but the words and the message and the compromise that was offered, it still to this day makes
We
perfect sense to me.
we in this country, the tone is shifted where I think the average person is just they want truth. They want the cold hard truth. They
Mhm.
want bluntness. Like they want to see things happen, and
Yeah.
they don't want a war. There's a generation, I want to say people in their 30s and under, especially the early 30s,
Mhm.
that they don't even understand fully hatred and all that because they were a generation where I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but
Right.
I'm saying when I talk to my son about hatred, and he's in his 30s, and then you go younger, they really don't get it. They don't get, they all have friends of different ethnicities and
Yes,
sexual
yes,
orientations.
yes.
Boys are friends with girls and this and the,
Right.
you know, and it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care
Right.
what the fuck you want to do. Like, it's a
No, the
generational
kids
thing.
yeah.
Even the they had that Charlie Kirk supposed shooter guy.
Right.
He
Yeah.
was cool. He's a redneck gun country guy. He was
Mhm.
French trans. I live in Juneau, small town. And you look at all the kids, it's a rainbow coalition of characters, of
Yeah.
people, and they don't understand. And they're going to go fight for it because you look and see who's fighting in the streets. It'll be kids, and it's young white kids
Yes.
now who are like, I don't understand. That shit's not cool. I don't
Yeah.
get that.
Well, and the kids of color are kinda going, "Yay, we're glad you see this," and that it doesn't make sense. But I think you're right, like, working with these young adults and my kids are about that age, so my kids range in age from, like, 19 to 32,
Yeah, they don't
33.
get it.
Yeah,
They
they're
really
just
don't
like,
see
"This
it.
is crazy, this doesn't make any sense," and I do feel very hopeful, that they have not internalized any of this stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people who are raising their kids to do just that. And you see them coming a mile away. Thankfully, they don't cross my path a lot at the job. I do like to think that if they come into my classroom, that they at least learn how to critically think their way out of a
Right,
paper bag. Like that's
right,
all I hope. That's my only job
right.
is to teach. Hey, critical thinking is one of our learning objectives. I just want you to think critically about whatever you're talking about, whatever you want to do. I just want you to be able to think critically about it.
Like, use this first. Stop doing this and think about it before you
Think
even
about it.
set
Think
out.
about whether it makes sense. Like, question it. Question it. Roll it around on your tongue. Like, throw it up in the air and see what happens to it. Stomp on it a little bit. See if it still stands up. And I tell them, question these things. Don't let anybody, not even me, just tell you something. Like, if I tell you something, I expect you to say to me, "Professor, where are your sources?" Right? Like,
Like,
that's what
based
I'm
off of
teaching you
what?
to
Yeah.
do. Yes, that's what I'm teaching you to do. So, yeah, these kids, I love to see it, that they are a lot more accepting. Again, not those that are being taught to be hateful. Uh, but I do love seeing the students who embrace each other. They embrace each other across class lines, and I really hope that they can retain that. I hope they can keep hold of that because these are very dark times. I talked to a student today after class and I felt so bad because we were talking about AI and just the state of everything. And poor kid, he's like, "Well, I don't know what's going to happen." And so I said to him, "Hey, I don't either. What I do know though is my mama always told us there's only one way to stop growing and to stop growing old, and that's to die young." And seeing as how I'm not wanting to die just anytime soon, and I told him I don't think you are either. The only thing we can do is just live, do the best we can, find our lane, find our fighting lane, and decide what we're gonna do. Like I know that my job in the revolution is to train the revolutionaries. That is my job. I'm in the classroom, that's what I'm gonna do,
Right,
and they're gonna go out and set this world on fire because we
right.
have to something's gonna give. Like it's coming to a point where something's
So,
gotta give.
in general, if you've noticed, like, the generation of podcasters now, the progressives that are on, and there are different degrees of progressive, but there's right wingers.
Mhm.
But if you see, like, I don't know if you heard this guy, Hassan Piker. He,
I haven't.
Okay, you're gonna hear about him because the Democrats hate him because he is
Oh,
very
wow.
progressive. He
Mhm.
is, like, hardcore. They talk shit about him because, like, he comments and he speaks on, like, Israel and Middle East politics. He's Turkish born, but he's lived in
Mhm.
America. He's one of the most successful, and I've become a fan because he has that he's, like, learned everything, and now he's a progressive. You ever heard of TYT? The channel?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay, his uncle is Cenk Uygur.
Okay.
So he
Okay,
left
okay.
he left that network because they were screwing him over, and so he just started his own podcast, and it blew the hell up. And
Wow,
so
okay.
so now he just talked to, Cori Bush. He just had an interview with
Mhm.
her. He's talked to Mom Donnie. He's talked to every political elite or every progressive you could think because he's just like I'm gonna. And so now they're fucking with the Republicans. They wrote they wrote some kind of law to ban him or to because he speaks too much
Oh,
truth to
wow.
power.
Oh,
And
that's
so
terrible. Yeah, he's a
right,
target
so
now,
but
yeah.
no, but that's good because now you see me, now let's go. You can't fight the power. That's why they hated the Panthers.
Yep.
It's the same thing, but it's now this young generation and they don't like it and they're fighting and it's coming up and you'll see if you watch CNN, there's this kid, Adam Mockler, he's like a
Yes,
23-year-old
yes.
white kid,
Oh,
and he
yes.
burned Scott Jennings because Scott Jennings is
Yes.
when
I
old people,
saw
especially
that.
when white men get busted, especially red, fascists, they can't handle the truth, and they can't handle when you
No.
argue them with facts. Name all the good things about Trump. Can you name the guy who never apologized? Well, they should be nicer. Well, he should be nicer. Pull up the video, bring
Yep.
it, and that's we're seeing. And it's not just white kids. There's black creators. There's
Yeah, yeah.
women, gay, and it's spreading. Like this generation, the 30 somethings and under, they're coming up. They're raised
Yep.
during Obama, and then they went to school and they started to see, mass shooting. You have all these things. And
Exa
how are we supposed to like lift our boots up? If you burnt the boots to the
Right.
ground. Like there's nothing. We are
Right.
looking forward to nothing because we don't have shit. Like, have you noticed? Because they travel, they go and they talk to people. They have friends of different ethnicities from
Uh-huh.
different cultures, and they talk. And every you talk to kids around the world, and it's all the same. Where like they don't want this shit.
No, they don't want this, and you
It's
think
a
about that
generational thing.
when you take away hope, you think about if you take away everything that a person has to look forward to, you have to know that there's one or two things that are gonna happen. Either they're going to roll over and give up, or they are gonna fight like hell to
Yeah.
actually make these changes. And so I'm excited when I see people who decide to fight because like, I mean, if we all going to hell in a handbasket anyway, I mean, why not
You
have fun
wanna
with that?
I always look at when Trump first got elected, and my first thought was, I have two granddaughters and my kids. It goes back to what I told you earlier. Is when he got elected, I bawled. It's not since 9/11 where I
Yeah,
publicly bawled. This is my worst fear coming ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was a little kid, and that racist shit, I felt hate, and I'm like, he's gonna spread that to the entire country and he's not even a full-on fascist. He's just a money grubber, and
right.
he's gonna put those people, and it's happening. So we've had like the smell of vomit in the air. But you see these people. I protested here with my wife. My little mother-in-law, who's like a 7-year-old, she's native Filipino. She's out there protesting. My wife's coming with me. But this thing, I felt like I don't want to go down and be, well, where were you? Because you ask like Germans, where were you when the Nazis came in?
Right.
Well, because if you didn't leave, you stayed, and so I stayed, and it's like, you want to go down fighting, or do you want to sit there and just tell like, yeah, well, whatever, there's nothing I could do.
Right.
No,
No,
that's not even true.
that's not true. Well, and there's also uh, sometimes you can't salvage a thing. Right?
Right.
Like you can't salvage it. Sometimes it does have to collapse. And I think that one of the biggest things for me uh was just the idea that this idea of American exceptionalism. Like of course being a black woman growing up in Texas, I've never seen it, right?
Right. You're like,
I
where?
mean, I'm just like, right, what yeah, I'm like, what? Utopia where? What are you talking about? Show me. We're already here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not, I don't dig it. But I do appreciate that there is a widening understanding that this is just egocentrism. Like that's just the talk that happens here. That's why that we are not encouraged to go travel other places. That is why people are proud to not have a passport. They are very proud to not have stepped foot in a university. They say, oh well no, that I'll just be indoctrinated. I'm thinking if I could indoctrinate people, if I really could, if
Right.
other college professors, if we really had that power, I don't
Right.
think we'd be where we are. So,
Right.
like give me that power. You giving it to me. Let me have it for real. Uh,
For real.
but I think that was one of the biggest things was like for that veneer. I was glad that that whole farce like is has crumbled, even if some people don't think that it has. But at the same time, I'm still I'm angry. I'm angry at what this office now represents. I try not to be an elitist, and I try not to you can have a college degree and still be dumber than a sack of rocks, right? And you
Oh
can
yeah,
also be that without one. But at
right.
the same time, when you have this office that is supposed to represent certain ideals, and you take somebody who is the total opposite of those ideals and you allow them not one time, but two times, I'm thinking that's just not very smart of us. Um, so maybe whatever happens should happen to us then, because
Oh,
that just was unreal. Like, it was, we were taught our
yeah,
whole lives and in school, the president should be this, the president should be that. And I'm like, you are literally none of these things. Like,
right,
none. The only thing that you are is a white man with the perception of
right,
money, with the perception of wealth.
right,
So cool.
right,
That's all you have.
right.
And I mean, you don't have this profound intellect. You do not have this wonderful moral standing. You have none of this. You don't have understanding of policies or
Like
laws, or you
he's
don't understand anything really. And
every
so, really?
every well, everything gross. Trump's head's in the picture. Like every report. Well, Epstein, well, he's there. The Clintons, when their thing, he's there. Like he doesn't discriminate against. I mean, he was like the love of like rappers for I don't know how many years. Even after the kids who he had ruined their
Yeah,
lives,
yeah.
the Central Park,
Right.
5, it's
Right.
like they still Puff Daddy. Well, guess what? You look at Puffy. Oh, Russell Simmons, he was cool with them and all this shit.
Right.
All these he's a
Go
manipulator and he used
figure.
it. But I mean, he is a racist. He's a
Yeah.
bigot, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like that. He's a CEO. He's a corporate bigot where he uses people
Mhm. Mhm.
but he's also transactional. So, because it's like, look, Mike Tyson's been friends with him forever, and it's like
Mhm.
the dude kicked out black folks in the '70s, and the Nixon's
Right.
Justice Department. I don't care.
Right.
And so you let them burn. It goes back to my friend would say this, like I said, after the Civil War, and I don't want to say it's to get busted or anything, but there should have been a quote unquote removal. There should have been a
Oh, for
specific
sure.
removal of these
Yeah.
people. So you see, oh, we're not because the Germany, like, even if it's fake, they made some kind of effort to be.
Right.
We're not
Right.
like this, and look how they react to Israel. Like you can't talk about Israel there. Like they
Yeah.
can't talk about swastikas. You can't even have one in public.
Yep.
And and I heard a German woman one time. I get so tired of hearing about that shit. Sorry, our country should you never stop talking about slavery in the
Right.
United States. Like,
Right.
how do you think this shit was built?
That is exactly the problem, is that when you brush it under the curtain, it kinda gathers strength. It doesn't dilute, it's still there. And it's
Right,
unfortunate because, there's a lot of backlash when people talk about this country being built on the back of indigenous people and on the back of
right,
enslaved people. But the fact of the matter is that is true. That is what happened. That is what happened financially. That is what happened physically. And so, when you have that kind of a foundation and it's baked in, there are reasons why there was no punishment. I feel like there was always a plan to get back to those tenets, but in
oh
ways
yeah,
that could not be fought, right? So in ways
right,
that could not be seen. And so it's written into policies, it's written into laws. Like just now, the Supreme Court saying that, yeah, you can mess with the maps and things and such. Well, it's
the
when
voting rights bill,
it's
yeah.
baked into policies,
Oh
because
man,
it is something that unfortunately the powers that be here want to perpetuate. They want this to
yeah.
keep going. They just want it to not end up in civil war. I don't think they really want that. They know that that's the only kind of fighting that happens here on our soil, is like us fighting each other. And so I think that there's a part of them that just doesn't want that. They want people to just accept what they're saying and not fight at all. And so they
Well,
found
they
other ways to enact these things.
right. That's where now we're talking about the billionaires. Like they're all like
Mhm.
corporate. white supremacists.
Yeah.
And so it's like Elon Musk, yeah, he wants South Africa here. He want,
Yep.
Peter Thiel, like they want a big brother everything, and
Yep.
Alex Karp and all these goofy, weird, like they're not even like real geniuses. Like they're just
They're
good.
no, they're
They just were
they're
given
not.
everything.
It's
Like
the perception. It's a
it's
perception.
crazy.
It's a curated perception, and
It's
I
so
just hate
American.
I hate that it works. Exactly. I hate that it works on so many people because again, question everything. Question how
Right.
smart these people really are. And if you want to be
Right.
led by somebody who's not smart, I mean, just say that.
Be
But don't try
honest.
to pretend. Yeah, don't try to pretend like these people are brilliant. Like, don't do that.
Right.
I don't appreciate that at all. Like,
I hate that shit.
I like when the monsters show themselves. Like, just show me your true face. It's cool. You can do your monster stuff. Go ahead.
Right.
Like, I'm
For
gonna
real.
fight you every step of the way, but just know this. But like, go ahead and show your monster face. I don't care.
What really kills me is all these people. Oh, I want to say one thing. Have you noticed that when you learn about anything about the whole Epstein situation, have you noticed the similarities of that whole they now have the term Epstein class, like all that shit that it reminds me of slavery. Like reminds me of like what they did to black folks. The cannibalism part.
Yeah.
You hear about what they did to Nat Turner or black folks in
Yes.
general.
Yes.
The making children. And I'm not going to go, but
Right.
the elitism. And Epstein was a Zionist, and he was definitely loyal to Israel. But like he was also an elite white person, and the
Right.
dude was like, he was hollow, fake, lied his way in, but he
Yep.
white privilege, like his motherfucker, like weighted everything,
Oh, leverage
and
that whole thing. Yep.
right, and it's the ritualistic robes and the behavior and
Right.
the control but it's also, they didn't do a lot to non-white people. I'm not saying there weren't black
Right. Oh,
victims or
sure,
non-white
sure.
victims,
Right.
but the majority of victims were white girls.
Right.
And it's just the whole thing centered around that. And with children, well, how did they treat like black children? Like what did they do to black kids? And it's the same. It's like this same thing that just care. You want to know what the 1800s was like? Well, study the Epstein files, and
Yeah.
I'll find you what they did. You have that racist, that monstrous white lady who was I believe she had a she had a place in New Orleans, and she basically was a serial killer,
Yeah, yeah,
and
Delphine,
and so
yeah, I remember,
and
yeah, yes. I can't think
there
of her, yeah, her name is on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, we were
right.
just in New Orleans a couple of months ago, and
Does that
yeah,
building still
it
exist?
still exists. Her name is on the tip of my tongue.
Right.
But yeah,
Uh,
the house is still there. I mean, it's all
American
fancy
Horror
and
Story.
yes, 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 yes. I mean, because she literally objectified the enslaved people that she kept captive. And you're right in this. But when we think about things like the Epstein files, black people are pretty much equated as children anyway,
Right.
and is not full-fledged human beings for by people that objectify us. And so it's unfortunate, but girl children are disposable. It's unfortunate, but in this country, if we've seen anything, it's that girl children and black people, other people of color are just totally disposable. Because and they can't fight back because they're children. That's the reason why they are victimized in that way. And it's just really sickening that nobody seems to care about this. But then I go, but you have a country where it's legal for kids to get married. You have a country where 1 in 6 black girls is raped before she's 18, right? You have a country where girls are sexually assaulted like left and right, and by family members and people in power, and you
Right.
just shove it under the rug, like nothing will ever happen. And I'm like, but too
Yeah.
many people know that this exists. Like somebody at some point is going to get to the bottom of that. Like, are you kidding me? Really?
Well, I hate the fact that QAnon was developed and all that, but they were on it, but they just talked about they were worshiping the main guy connected with that shit, and
It's
it could have been
crazy.
if you would have just switched it up and focused on the real, nitty gritty, you
Right.
would have actually had something that you would have had a legitimate cause, but you
Right.
turned it into a racist, anti-Semitic, you know,
Right.
sex thing. Um, yeah, it's I notice with one thing with all these situations, it's always like they use religion,
Mhm.
Christianity,
Right.
and in fact, or Judaism, depending, because Israel's
Mhm.
got its own sexual problem
Right.
and gross. But here it's fascism is using there's all these elements, sexual assault,
Mm.
like they manipulate children and controlling little girls or boys for that matter. Was it Nazism or the Klan? But it's always that you always hear about the cops or the ministers or the
Right.
people in power, and it's a middle-aged white guy.
Right.
He just got busted. I mean, it just every day, every fucking day you'll
It's
find
every
something,
day. Yeah,
and it's
it's more than just those Epstein files. This is happening every day on a much lower scale. Like
oh
it's
yeah,
happening every day. And so there are reasons why the powers that be don't want to dig into those files. I mean, because then means that you have to reckon with the things that happen on a regular basis. And I don't understand how anybody can stand to see these reports of things being done to children. Like,
well, we
that
don't
is
care,
disgusting.
right?
Like,
I
it
mean,
is
the fact.
disgusting.
Well, and the other thing with this that bothers me when we talk about this issue is like, so we're such a fucked up country that men can't report it and boys can't report it because then they get, it's they're not man enough. Their
Right.
masculinity is questioned. It's like, dude, they were sexually assaulted. I mean, how many men have been sexually assaulted and you don't hear like Terry Crews.
Exactly.
Terry Crews was this big guy. You had even DL Hughley, dude, you're a big guy. It's like, I don't think you understand I mean, are you going to say that to enslaved black men who were raped and boys? Really? I mean, seriously?
some people, they absolutely do. And it doesn't matter because Black people are not human anyway, right? Sean, that's the whole key to this whole
I
thing.
know.
If they're not human, we can do these things to them. So
Right.
little children, well, they're not humans yet. They're just little kids. So we can objectify them too. Um, I mean, and it's just a really disgusting kind of a thing. But what I don't understand is how it is that these proclivities just exist in such a broad manner though. Like, you know what I
It's
mean? It's
right
not like
there.
it's a rare thing. It's this such
Right.
widespread thing. And I'm like, how did this happen?
This is not new. This has
It's
just
not
been,
new.
it's like rich people can do whatever the fuck they want, especially if they're white. They can just bury shit under the rug. And it doesn't matter your political leanings or any of that shit. It doesn't discriminate. It's like a
Right.
Democrat or Republican or whatever. It's just power,
It's
and it's all
power.
about money.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate that the children are the ones who are targeted with this. I mean, because that kind of thing stays with you. Can you imagine how they feel their whole lives? And I'm sure that there are increased suicide rates amongst these victims, these poor kids.
I
Uh,
mean,
it's a terrible thing, and then they have to go on to watch their abusers continue to be lauded with power, to be given more accolades, to be held
the
up.
the president of the United States, okay, and you see him every fucking day.
Every day they got to look at him and go, these are the things that happened to me. These are the people that did this and nobody cares. Like I cannot begin to imagine how devastating that's gotta be. And
I mean,
I hate that we live here in this
right?
kind of an idea. It's
We
like
don't
I
have
don't
to.
like it. Yeah, I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't either. I mean, and one last thing on that. Look at how Monica Lewinsky's life was just ruined, and she was only like 21.
She was so young. She was so young.
Oh,
And I mean, I'm glad to see that it did not crush her, that she's still around,
right.
but it's very,
But
very
man,
terrible what happened to her. We didn't hear a lot more about Anita Hill after she testified, right? It's
oh,
like she just
Joe
kind of
Biden stuck up for fucking Clarence Thomas. Was fighting
disappeared.
for him.
Yeah, I mean, and so just this is it's very devastating. I hate it. I mean, because we have kids, but for this to happen to anybody's kid, it's a terrible thing.
Well, hey, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah,
got
yeah,
quiet
the
for
sun
the.
is setting here, and I didn't think about
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay,
No,
the sun is setting, and I didn't think about it before I did turn on the lights. So I'm like, ah,
no, no, no. There was a freezing. I just thought you'd froze up.
Oh, yeah.
We wow, that was great. I really appreciate talking to you.
Yeah, me too. I'm so glad that we met.
Me too. And I do this to everybody, but I would definitely like to bring you back on sometime and we discuss this more. And I'm sorry, I want to talk to you more about historical fiction
Yeah,
and
okay.
because I have some ideas. I'm gonna send you some ideas I have because, like I said, I have a story, a steampunk idea or a steampunk story that include historical fiction or fact
Mhm.
mixed with fiction, but add magic and
Oh,
get your
yeah,
idea. 'Cause
yeah.
I get stuck. I'm not a writer, but
I
I
don't
have
know, Sean,
ideas.
if you have stories and you have ideas, I think you are a writer.
Okay,
But we'll
but
talk about that next time.
right. But one thing though you mentioned is the writing and how they write dialogue and like how in depth do you be and when do you need to be, and that's the thing I always get stuck on because it's like, okay, like if I write this stuff, I want it to sound somewhat authentic. I don't want to get too gross because there's a story to tell, and I don't want to be sidelined with derogatory shit
Right, right.
and
Oh,
all
yeah,
that.
understood. That's understood. Yes, yes.
But Rhonda, I thank you so much, and I hope you have a really nice night. Thanks
For
again.
having me, and you have a good night too, Sean.
You too. You take care. Thank
Okay,
you.
all
Live
right,
long and
take care.
prosper.
Good night.